I have developed a theory about PC Genjin, and it might be a bit of a controversial one. You see, I think there's a very good case to be made that PC Genjin is the very first mascot platformer game. One of the complications here is that mascot platformer is more of an attitude than a finely defined genre, but let's break this down a little bit. The simple part is that it's got to be a platformer. Okay, no problems there. PC Genjin easily clears that hurdle. The second part is that the game has to star a mascot. In other words, a cute character created specifically to be the face of a brand. The character PC Genjin was originally used in comics created for the mostly official PC Engine magazine, and in the US, as Bonk, he was the face of the platform. Basically, he's a mascot for the PC Engine. Mascot platformers didn't really take off until the early 90s, at which point everybody made one. Which I think makes PC Genjin the originator of the trend. Nintendo wasn't looking to make the face of their company when they created Super Mario Bros. It just happened. But here, it's a calculated plan, and I think that makes all the difference. Being designed as a mascot also means that PC Genjin has a little bit of an odd development. Hudson knew they wanted a platform game, and they wanted it to star a character that would be the star of the PC Engine. They went to Red Entertainment for this, which was called Red Company at the time, and Red didn't have enough development resources available to create the game itself, but they could make the character. Red took their character designs to Atlas, and Atlas actually developed the game. The Genjin in PC Genjin means caveman. So it seems like there's another case of someone at Hudson really liking their pun titles. They had a weirdly high number of those. The game's story is that Princess Dragon has been kidnapped by King Tomogodon III, and as the only human in the dinosaur kingdom, it's up to Genjin to get her back. While the game could be technically broken up into 6 worlds, they're of very unequal length. For example, the first world consists of 4 stages, while the 5th world has just 1. It's a very long stage, but it's still a single unbroken stage. It might be better to think of the length of the overall game, which is about an hour and a half if you're not rushing things. PC Genjin is a surprisingly long game. Our hero Genjin also has a lot of abilities. If you're standing on the ground and press button 2, then he does a headbutt. That's good for taking out small enemies in front of him. Jump into the air by pressing button 1, and then hit button 2 while you're in the air, and he flips. This slows his descent, and if Genjin's upside down when he hits the ground, then he'll hurt whoever is underneath him. As a rule of thumb, Genjin's head is tougher than his body, and hitting stuff with his head is a safe way to handle things. Because doing the somersaults in the air slows Genjin's fall, you can mash button 2 to travel long distances. But if you need to get more height, Genjin can climb walls by jumping into them and then mashing button 1. This makes him grip the wall with his teeth and slowly climb up. On some surfaces, like these trees, he can rotate around to the other side, and against waterfalls, Genjin can climb the background by mashing button 1. Naturally, there's lots of things that you can pick up, and most of these are dropped by enemies or found in flowers. The flowers are a bit special because they're color-coded to indicate what happens when Genjin bounces on top of them. Yellow flowers act as springboards, letting you jump higher. It's often necessary to use them to complete stages. The pink flowers contain items, sometimes, and other times they turn into monsters. But the monsters that come out of the flowers can be knocked away by Genjin, so they're not a critical threat. Fruits and vegetables restore a small amount of Genjin's health. Genjin starts out with 3 hearts in his life meter, and naturally loses a bit every time he gets hit. Green flowers can contain blue hearts, and these will increase the length of that life gauge by 1 heart. Meat powers up Genjin. There's 3 levels of power up, and small meat will increase this by 1, while the large meat will take you all the way to the top. When you're powered up and headbutt the ground, it will stun all enemies on the screen. You lose the power-up over time, but you also decrease by 1 level if you get hit by an enemy if you're not invincible. Of course, the top level power-up here makes Genjin invincible and greatly increases his speed. This invincibility wears off with time, but it lasts longer than you might expect. The other major item that you would collect are these little yellow icons. They don't do much initially, but after you defeat a boss, all of the icons that you've collected are turned into bonus points. Points are the primary way that you earn extra lives in PC Genjin, which makes getting those little icons useful. There are some secret ways to earn points, though. If you hit the same enemy repeatedly, even though it's already dead, then eventually it'll start giving you points. Just a small amount at first, but it will grow over time. There's a few places in the game where it's trivial to hit the same enemy over and over again, and so rack up an enormous score. Particularly the underwater section in the first world. The extra lives you earn there can carry you through the whole game. If you do run out of lives and get a game over, well, then you can continue from the title screen and start at the stage you died on. But if you had extended Genjin's health bar, then you're back to the default 3 hearts. When Genjin's health runs out, he'll tumble to the ground, but rather than reviving, he just sits there until you hit the start button. That's when he'll pop back up. As a weird consequence of this, it's possible to be carried through difficult sections of the game while you're dead. If you happen to die on a moving platform, just sit there until the danger's passed, then hit start. For the bosses, most of them have a bright, flashing helmet on that you need to smash in order to beat them. And the efficient way to do this is to jump over them, turn upside down, and hit them with your head. In a few cases, you can even bounce on them over and over again, which makes the whole process pretty easy. On some stages, you'll find hidden doors or passages you can go through, and these can take you to bonus stages. Here you might be challenged to collect fruit, or keep Genjin in the air as long as possible. And if you do screw up in these bonus areas, well, no harm done. You just go back to the normal stage. PC Genjin was the start of a pretty big series for Hudson. We're going to see 3 more games based on it on the PC Engine, and Genjin survives the platform that he was punned after. He'll make appearances on other systems as the PC Engine winds down. I think that makes it the PC Engine's most successful franchise. In Japan, PC Genjin is a beloved classic, one of the highlights of the PC Engine. For me, I've always been a bit down on this game, but playing it this time, I'm not really sure why. PC Genjin is really good. There's an enormous variety of stages, and a lot of clever gimmicks scattered among them. There's no instant death pits throughout the entire game. Instead, they try to find other ways to challenge you with the platforming. The variety of moves that Genjin has at his disposal gives you a lot of interesting options. PC Genjin is peak platforming for 1989. That said, I do like the sequels better, but we'll get to those in time.